It is Sunday. We should be live here. It is art day. Well, it's needle felting day. And we are picking back up with the last episode in the tutorial series of season 3 of the Bob Ross Joy of Painting. We are following along with needle felting instead of paint. We've done paint before, but we just decided to try the needle felting because I've never seen anybody do that before. So, yeah. If anybody is interested in watching the tutorial in full, since I have it paused 90% of the time and muted, it is pinned in the chat, and that link should take you on over to where that lives on the Bob Ross YouTube channel. Sorry, allergies is going to be a snuffly one today. I apologize. When we last left off, we were working on our river here. So that's where we're going to be picking up. We've got our finger protectors so we don't injure ourselves too badly. We've got our very sharp small gauge needle. This is just the one that I prefer to use. And we've got some fluff. I use acrylic yarn. It's a little bit more budget friendly for me. And I just kind of prefer it. Hoping this bunchy part sorts itself once we get all down up in there. We'll see. This piece of fluff has been fighting me, or this felt, it feels like, with its wobbly, wonky self here. On the edges for whatever reason this time. Yeah, I will say at this point, much prefer the thicker one. The thicker craft felt. I'm not pulling this very hard, I'm just kind of holding it very gently, just to kind of keep the tail of our fluff out of the way. A, so we can see what we're doing, and B, so it doesn't just start grabbing all of it unnecessarily to attempt to shove it down into any one spot too soon. I got some more Bear and Breakfast recorded last night because I realized A, one of the painting videos I'm not going to be able to use because I kind of messed up on the piece but kept going with it anyway. But in the video was okay until the very end, and you really couldn't make out what the hell I did. So I was like, yeah, let's not. It's okay. We all have our fails, right? And usually I'm fine with posting the fails, but that one, it kind of looked like, well, what was the point? I'm still gonna put the magnet in the giveaway, or I don't know, we'll do something with it. Still haven't decided if I'm gonna reopen the eBay shop. I might just hold on to the stuff and do another art giveaway at our farmer's market eventually. If we get a bigger table. We'll see what happens. All right. I like to overlap my bits of fluff here in an attempt to avoid any awkward seams showing up where colors are meeting. And then, like, once you get them all tapped in, you normally don't really see where the overlap is. Not really. So I use acrylic yarn, like I said earlier. And it's just more budget friendly for me, because I can get a skein of acrylic yarn. It doesn't have to be top of the line acrylic yarn. It can be, you know, on sale, whatever. Craft house label, doesn't matter. For like $5 or under. Definitely under if it's on sale. And I get a lot. Like way more than I would out of some roving fluff that would be anywhere between $6 and $10. And I get a lot more color possibilities as well. Okay, so I'm gonna gently peel that up. Yeah, like look at this. Like, what the hell is this? That didn't happen on the last one. It's happened on the other ones of this, the thinner craft felt though. So it's not a huge surprise, but it's definitely aggravating. You do want to try to pop your project gently up off of your mat, especially if you're using a fabric mat or this like wool or felt mat, every so often. So you don't become too attached. Because I have almost attached a project or two to my mat by forgetting to do that. And it's a little scary and nerve-wracking attempting to gently remove it. If you're using a foam mat, you probably don't need to as much, probably, but I don't know for sure. Since I don't really use the foam mats, the sound of this mat's a lot gentler to my ears, so I prefer this one, or this type. So this color is from the Big Twist Value line, and it is called, I think it's, what is it? Denim Blue. I wasn't sure if it was light denim, because I have a dark denim. This is Denim Blue. You don't have to roll it, it's just something I do. Helps me get all my little fibers pulled in together. I'm just trying to get up against my edge line. Filled in here. I had the tape down as my guideline, but we can see all the good it did on this piece with its wonky edges here, so that really didn't help us very much, did it? And now I'm not sure, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm not so sure that it really did anything on the thicker piece, on the piece before this one, the last one, episode 12. I haven't gotten to that speed felt yet. Editing takes time, lots and lots of time on speed felts, if I want them to be within a more reasonable watchable range. I'm just kind of coming in here, making sure that we're as attached to my liking as I want to be. Okay. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. We let whoop and then we're coming back in, and I don't know, man. It's doing what it wants to do. We'll try to clean it up when we're at the end. We'll see. We might lose a little bit off the edges, which is why I say it's approximately 8 by 10. It's going to end up being a little bit under on the 8. Well, no. I guess on the 10, because it's going to come in. The 8 should remain the same. Yeah. Get my directions confused sometimes. It happens. I mean, I still get my left and my right mixed up at times, so I'm not really surprised. Okay, so hope everybody's having a good weekend. They're actually predicting thunderstorms the entire weekend next weekend, which is when the big craft fair is in our town and square dancing competition, and it's all outside. So, it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. And if it's actually gonna storm. Because, I mean, it's still a few days out. A lot of the times they keep adjusting the forecast. So we'll see if it actually ends up storming. We have to get our front yard in shape this week, because if the parade does happen and it's not storming, because they have this big to-do parade right before the fair kicks off, it goes right past our house, which means there's going to be all kinds of people standing out on the street staring at our house. And we need to get the vegetation a little bit more in check. It's been kept within city angry limits, but we should probably try to clean it up. Our cucumbers are pretty much done. We need to get them down. We need to cut back the one bit of ornamental grass I had around a tree stump. It needs time to grow back now. It's kind of half fallen over anyway. It doesn't need to completely go, we just need to clean it up. Russell got some of my little mini planter box flamingos with the weed whacker, so I need to get rid of a few of those. I'm sad now. I wish I could find ones that were a little bit more durable. Because, I mean, the plastic ones just don't last very well. I mean, I kind of wonder if we could, like, get some silicone caulk and, like, a disposable baking tray or something. and like make a mold that we could fill it with cement and like press the one side of the plastic flamingo into, and then just, you know, epoxy the two halves together. It's either that or I make a base out of clay and like wrap it in plastic wrap or something. That might be something I attempt down the road. And not anytime soon. I mean, I have plaster of Paris, but I don't think it's gonna survive even if I fill it solid and seal the hell out of it. I think it would be a little too soft. That was somebody's car stereo. I really hope that someday we can live somewhere that we're not on an intensely busy road. I mean, I guess this isn't technically intensely busy. I've lived on busier. But the constant car stereo thumping gets to be a bit much for my brain to handle. Alright. So I've got a whole Ziploc bag of this. And I've got plenty more of this color. Should we run out of what I have left. And we actually, there's a chance we could run out of what I've got left, because we've got a lot of river to cover. Here. Now that I'm looking at what we have to deal with. And I'm sort of sorry that we are sideways, but it's a little bit easier for me at the very moment to see what the heck I'm doing. Okay. Did this tapped into here. Okay, this side's raised up a little if it's noticeable because of the way the pad is acting. It's gonna be one of my Christmas requests, is getting a new pad. We get about a year out of the fabric mats, just because the amount of abuse we put it through. But so far this one's been holding up a bit better than the last one, so I might get this brand again, maybe. We will see. Trying to keep my hand out of the way. Doesn't always work. Bless you. Bless you. Like I said, bad allergy day. This entire year has been a bad allergy year here. I don't get it. Okay, this is going to be a section of land, so we don't need to fill that in. Okay, so I put you about there. Just kind of wanting to hold the angle that I want this guy to come in at, as we are working around our little island or peninsula or finger, whatever you want to call it. My pen line here. Now my pen line is just an approximate guideline of where I wanted stuff to sit. We can go a little over it. We can be a little above it. It doesn't have to be dead on the line. But I am trying to at least make sure I'm sort of keeping the shape that I had plotted out. I mean, we can always make an adjustment when the island land mass color goes in. So, I mean, that's not a huge deal. But I just kind of wanted to try to stick to the shape that we're attempting to make. Hey, Dave! How are ya? How's it going? Sorry, I don't have stream avatars running, so I don't catch the messages right the moment they happen. Husband's here. Still hanging in there. Good thing, I reckon. That's a good thing. Definitely a good thing. So what have you been up to lately? Any adventures? Alright, so just take a quick peek at where we're at so far. Getting our water put in. I still need to come back in and add a little bit more shoreline up into here, but I want this in first. Nope, just Diablo 4. Nice. How are you enjoying this season? Are you doing the season or are you just doing the storyline? We've been playing a bit of this season. It's been interesting. I will say the addition of, what is it, the Hellgates. A little bit different, kind of fun. It feels like, what were they? The Rifts and WoW? Was it the Rifts? I can't remember what that place was called. In, what the hell was it? Shadowlands? Where you could pick different, buffs and stuff, except this is different levels of what's going to be thrown at you. You're like buffing the monsters instead. Seems pretty good. You have 7 100s, working on number 8 now. Wow. We have 3 between us. The husband's got 2, and I've got 1. But we've also been busy with other stuff in life, and he's been working on some other games that he picked up along the way. What the hell is it that you're playing now obsessively? He's like a border patrol agent in like old-time Russia. What are you playing right now? Husband? What are you playing obsessively right now?
Right now I'm playing Contraband Police because my brain isn't up to anything more complex.
Yeah, we tried to play Diablo last night, but we had to re-dye my hair, which takes a while. We got like 1 round of Diablo in while the dye was setting. And by the time I finished washing the dye out and came back, he was like, no, I'm done. I was like, okay. We're almost...
I'm sorry, after the last couple of days I just haven't been feeling it.
Yeah, no, we've had a rough week with the doggo. We thought we were gonna end up parting ways with the doggo due to his condition, but the vet's like, no, we can fix this, and I'm like, okay. But we got some, it was kind of a good bad mix of information we got from the vet on Friday. Like, he's been to the vet 3 times in this past week, so he went to our emergency vet last Sunday because he was like throwing up white foam, and we were panicked because it wasn't like just a couple times, it was constant over about a couple of hours, and we're like, oh shit. We managed to get him into there. They didn't see anything. They're like, no, it's not bloat or anything. And we're like, okay. Well, that's something. But they didn't see anything to be too concerned about when they did their hands-on exam. And they didn't seem to really think that they needed to run blood work. And I'm like, okay. So we thought we were okay, and then we got him into our vet because he still wasn't acting right, our main vet. The Sunday vet was our secondary emergency after hours of our main vet's option, that are actually open on Sunday. And we saw a different vet that we didn't know was working with our main vet that has dealt with this guy and the bulk of his issues lately. And she was like, well, we don't have the right equipment to get a catheter up into his bladder because he's such a tiny guy. I want you to go call the specialist at the emergency animal hospital. They do regular hours, but there's a waiting list. And I'm like, of course there's a waiting list. And she didn't really run any blood work on Thursday, and we're like, okay. And then Thursday night, like, we found out his pH was good on his pee, which has been a battle since like January. He had a UTI that would not go away, that was starting to become antibiotic resistant, and then we finally got that under control, and then we've been battling his pH problem that the vet was like, no, I think it's causing crystals, and we're like, great. So he's been on like prescription food for months, like since March, and the pH was bouncing up and down even on just the prescription food, and we're like, I'm like, Russell, something's not right. Like, he said maybe a month and it would be good, or a couple of months. We've surpassed that. So Thursday night he took a nosedive. Like, he was having trouble standing up. At one point he wouldn't even stand up, and we're like, oh crap. And then he was starting to get sick again. We're like, oh. Our vet doesn't normally do office hours for very much on Friday, and they're only usually open a half day. So, like, at 4 in the morning, he's like on their website or on their Facebook trying to put an appointment request in, hoping somebody gets back to us. And then at 8 o'clock he tried calling them. They're like, well, you can come in at like 10:30 and just wait and we'll try to squeeze you in. And I'm like, oh goody. I was like, if he makes it to 10:30, sure. But we were not expecting him to come home from the vet. That's how upset and how sick he was. And the vet's like, okay, well, he has a stomach digestive infection somewhere. So he gave us an old school, broad spectrum, sulfur-based antibiotic that he was going to try because people aren't really using it anymore. And he's like, well, let's try that. And we got some kind of probiotic to get his digestive system back up to speed. But they also found some sort of mass in his bladder. And we're like, oh great. We have no idea what it is. The one round of testing didn't specifically say it was cancerous. But they're not sure. It still could be. He had a cancerous bump removed off of his neck probably a year ago, I think. And they're not sure what that is in his bladder, so they're like, that could be the reason that we've been battling the pH. The pH could have been the symptom of this. So we're like, okay. So we've taken him off the prescription urinary tract food, and we're just making him boiled chicken now and chicken broth, because he's eating it happily.
He actually ate the food mixed with that pretty easily today.
The dry dog food?
Yep, I did that for breakfast. He seemed okay with it.
Okay. And because he's a very picky eater, we've been battling that with him as well. He'll be willing to eat something for a little bit, and then he's like, no, I'm done with this. And meanwhile, Zuzu's like, yeah, give me more. So it's like, okay. But they also saw he has a bunch of kidney stones in his kidneys that are too big to pass. Right now we're just trying to get his digestive system under control. The vet thinks he might have a way to deal with those. Maybe. but his kidneys were still functioning normal. So we're like, okay. So we might just be on a symptom management regimen from here on out with him. We'll see. It was a very mentally exhausting week and quite the roller coaster. You can tell he still doesn't feel great, but we've seen more of his old self where we get a happy tail and he's being sassy, waking us up because he's hungry or wants something, and he's checking our hands to see if we have anything remotely involving a snack when we're walking in the room, and we're like, okay. He's being a little more lively. And we're like, alright. He's starting to want to go outside and lay in the sun a bit more, and we're like, okay. So we think the antibiotic is doing something for him at this point. That's just gonna be bunchy there, isn't it? Weird. I wonder if it's because of all the layers in here. It could be. It could very well be. We'll have to deal with that later. But it's been a long week. And Zuzu has separation anxiety from his brother and from us. So that was another problem that we were gonna have to deal with. Momo doesn't seem to be as bothered when his brother has to go to the vet without him. Zuzu not so much. He will constantly be pacing back and forth. He's not as bad as he used to be. When Momo had to go to the vet for his back issue, Zuzu was sitting at the front door howling for him. Now he just kind of frantically paces back and forth and just stares out the front door looking for him. That's a slight improvement, but anytime we leave the house, even if we're gone for like 10 minutes, Zuzu will start howling. I'm surprised the neighbors haven't, like, called the cops and we haven't gotten a call about, yeah, what's going on? It's like, no, our dogs howl. And sometimes he gets Momo to join in with him. I've been home, and Zuzu has thought he was home alone. And I've heard this noise that almost sounded like a faint, distant tornado siren, and I'm like, what the hell? Because they don't do sirens in our area anymore. And I'm like, what the hell am I hearing? And I go up into my mom's room, and he's sitting on the bed just howling because Russell took my mom to the store. And I'm like, buddy, you're not at home alone. And then he's like, oh shit, there's somebody here. So I'm like, what are you doing, my guy? You need to calm down. Okay. But it's just been a long week. And then our stand mixer stopped working, right? And that's how I make our pizza. I can make it by hand. I don't have to use the stand mixer, but it's a lot easier on my neck if I can get the stand mixer to do all the kneading for me. And that started smelling like it was burning, and I'm like, it smelled like burnt fish, and I'm like, why does this smell like burnt fish? Because I was making bread for Russell, and it had to knead for like 5 to 8 minutes, so I walked out of the kitchen while it was kneading, and I walked back in like 3 minutes later, and it reeked of burnt fish out there, and I'm like, what the hell? And I got closer to the mixer. I'm like, oh god, it's coming from the mixer. So I stopped the mixer and unplugged it because I didn't know what the hell was going on. We've had that one, I think, for a couple of years. It's KitchenAid. And Russell started doing some research, and it turns out the grease might need to be changed in it. Because when he opened it up, the grease that was on the gears in there was black and sludgy. And he's like, oh. He goes, that's where the smell is coming from. It was heating up because of how long the mixer was running. And I don't normally run it that long at that speed when I'm doing pizza dough. So I didn't notice it becoming a problem before. We were gonna just try to outright replace it, because sometimes the switch is a little weird about turning on for me. It always has been. But we don't have $400 to put on a new KitchenAid stand mixer. I'm like, oh, that's not happening. And we were trying to look up reviews on a less expensive one. I was seeing a lot of reviews of people saying this stopped working within a month, and weird powder from something grinding, like metal shavings. I'm like, oh no. I mean, there are reviews on the internet, so you have to kind of take them with a grain of salt and hope that they put it on the right product, number one. But I'm like, I don't know. Russell's like, you know what? He goes, I did some research. I should be able to just take the top apart, clean the gears, and put fresh grease on them, and that should fix it. He goes, let's try. Worst case scenario, we still have to replace the mixer. I'm like, okay. So he ordered the grease because we couldn't find it locally. He cleaned everything up, put the grease in last night, and then it wouldn't go back together. Did you ever get a response to that anyway?
The post never went through. I still have to make a new post.
Oh. You should do that while the sun's out so you can see it better. With the daylight instead of the night flashlight photo.
Well, I took a photo earlier. I just haven't reposted everything.
Oh, I would. So we can figure out what the hell's going on. Because we were planning on having a pizza heavy month this month, and now I can't make pizza easily. So we will see. Because like the gears went back into their positioning, but one of the housings that goes over the gears isn't going on right. He's like, it's getting stuck. He goes, there's nothing for it to get stuck on. He goes, I don't understand. He even tried using a rubber mallet to put it into place last night, and it wasn't going. He's like, I don't think I'm supposed to force the screws, and you can't force the screws because they weren't even... Yeah, like the screws weren't even hitting the bottom piece that they were supposed to go into, and we're like, to hold the housing in place, and we're like, what the hell? So we don't quite know what the hell happened. I guess in hindsight we should have taken a photo of each step of where everything was. He thinks it's all back in the same place though.
It is. So I got it all fit in the same place and everything. It's just
we don't understand why the metal protective housing's not going back in. It makes no sense. Alright, need to get some more fluff out of the fluff bag. Alrighty. I popped into the podcast just for a second last night because we were terribly busy with life happening, and I was kind of surprised more people didn't turn out for A, the anniversary, and B, the memorial. But then again, I don't know how active the community is anymore, since I stopped playing. I will say it was kind of nice not to have to be ripping my hair out trying to do expansion testing. I mean, I always told Lita I would help her test stuff, but it was tough with the time that we had to test things, because there was never enough time to get everything tested ahead of time, it seemed. It was real stressful, especially around trying to deal with other things I had going on. You hadn't heard realize that Farrah passed away. I'm not sure how Lita found out. She didn't tell me. She had messaged me, and I had messaged Boz and Zortz, but they're still in the Discord apparently, so they found out through there. I had left the Discord because I don't like a lot of notifications that I have to check on constantly. Probably since being a mod there, I was constantly had to, like, oh, what's this, what's this, what's this? So I kind of got burnt out and just kind of was like, well, I mean, I'm not playing anymore. There's not really any point in me staying. So I'm not quite sure what happened. Just that she had passed. I wasn't that surprised to hear it because I know she'd been having some health issues. When I had left, she had been going through some stuff. But I was kind of surprised there weren't more people. Unless I just popped in at a quiet moment. But did the new expansion launch yet? Or are they just like in early preview? Or is it early access for those that bought it? I have no idea. I've not been keeping up with anything. Haven't had time to keep up with anything really. Between streaming and life right now, it's been a lot going on. Summer is always a bit busy for us, just with life happening, house happening, things needing to be dealt with, outside needing to be kept up with. Early access right now till Tuesday, you think? Like, part of me misses playing WoW. Part of me. But if I were to go back, I don't really like have anybody to really play with on the regular, and I wasn't really doing dungeons anymore anyway because they got so toxic. And I've already done like all the lore master questing and everything, and I couldn't finish Dragonflight because of the dragon riding requirement. That kind of really killed it for me because it kept giving me an instant migraine every time I attempted it. It was awful for me. those that love it, hey, you're welcome to it. I'm glad you like it, but I can't do it. It's too much visual processing going on. With the swirl on the nose in one direction and like the wind whipping off the wings in the other, and no. Can't do it. I tried messing with some of the access stuff and nothing was helping with that at the time. And I know they implemented the regular writing, but you had to get some kind of achievement or something, Pathfinder unlocked. And I don't know what that involved, but I couldn't even finish questing on my main through the first area. Which really made me not even want to keep going on my challenger. I'm like, I'm dead. I can't fight through this anymore. That and my job was becoming obsolete at WoW challenges anyway. Because Twitter became a shitstorm. I guess X now. And you couldn't even use TweetDeck anymore without paying, or like having a paid subscription to X. And I'm like, what's not happening is that I'm not paying for Twitter so I can use TweetDeck. I don't have the money for that, for something I volunteer to, and that's the only reason I use TweetDeck, is so that I can access the WoW Challenges Twitter. We were going, there was talk of giving me the actual passwords to everything, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. Because if anything happened and shit got compromised from my end, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have that over my head that I fucked up somewhere or got hacked or something. No, I don't want that. I don't want the keys to the kingdom. No, thank you. And then Facebook went sideways as well, where you had to have like Meta Office Suite or something to access the ability to do the posts the way they needed to be done and some shit. And I'm just like, okay, we tried to give it to me. It wasn't giving it to me. At that time, I think Lita might have been on Windows 11 and I was still on Windows 10, and I couldn't see what she was seeing. And now that I've got Windows 11 on this new PC, I think I can see what she was talking about now, but it doesn't matter anymore anyway. But it was a pain in the ass at that point, and it wasn't worth the aggravation anymore for what I was having to, the gymnastics I was having to do to make shit happen. I was just like, yeah, no. And at the time, I had a lot of stuff going on with my dad. My dad was real sick. And I was entering hospice at the time with everything else going on. And I'm just like, yeah, no. I can't do this anymore. Too much shit going on. Too much shit. So, I can't give everything its own time slot in my brain anymore where I can dedicate to this, to this, to this. I had too much, we need you to do this now, happening in the house, so. It was time. But we've had more time for art streams and other games that I've wanted to play. We'll probably end up picking up Planet Coaster 2. Because that looks interesting. I don't know whose account it'll be on. It'll probably be on mine. On Steam. So that way I can access it if the husband's doing something else. And we'll just do like family share play on that, so we only have to get the one copy. Which is what we did with Planet Zoo, and that worked out pretty well. And I'm really enjoying Bear and Breakfast and Coral Islands. We're gonna do some Bear and Breakfast vids. Those are gonna go up on the YouTube channel while I'm away. You sidestepped Shadowlands and never finished Dragonflight, and you haven't jumped on the new expansion yet. Yeah, I don't know. WoW doesn't feel the same anymore as it used to. And I'm dyslexic, right? So it always takes me like 20 times longer to do something. Because it takes me a few minutes to read and understand what the hell I just read. And sometimes I have to read it 3 and 4 times before, like, quests and stuff, before I understand what the hell they're saying. Because I'm used to having to proofread myself multiple times, and even then I had to have the husband double check me. Because I jumble my back sentence thought and the front sentence thought a lot of the time. And, a lot of the quests in Dragonflight that I was attempting to read had so many typos in them. LibXZ. I'm so glad you decided to stop by. I'm not glad that you decided that you needed to post a link for viewers. I'm not. Where the hell's the ban? So, why can't I ban you? Did you already ban him?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you report him?
Oh, I didn't know that was a separate thing.
Yeah, you have to fill out a report. Do I need to do it?
I don't know exactly how to do it. If you could, that would be helpful.
So you click their name, and the box that pops up, there's ... on the right, next to gift sub. And then it has a little thingy that you fill out. And then you'll get an email saying that we've received your report, and if it was something that they found the person in fault of, you'll get another email shortly thereafter that says we've actioned your report.
There you go.
Thank you. It might be my mod that's blocking what the * actually is. It might be Moobot or Stream Elements blocking that. Because I saw a bunch of people. I actually stumbled onto a Twitter thread, X thread, I guess, last night of people running into the same issue that I've had recently, where you'll get somebody popping in and it seems like they're genuinely interested in your stream, and they're like, oh hey, and they start talking to you, and then they start to advertise their digital graphic art services. Even though I have some graphics up, I don't like my screen real busy. It's distracting to me. And I don't really feel like I need a lot. I mean, we have stream avatars now for when we're gaming. We need to add some hats and stuff for that. We haven't gotten that far. Life's been too stupid right now. And the husband does the art for me. And at least at this time he is. And I'm like, I understand people are trying to put themselves out there. I get that. And sometimes the only way is to, you know, go into people's streams and introduce yourself. But so many people in that thread were like, oh yeah, the second they start that, instant ban. They're like, the other people have that get used, you know, my artist doesn't do that. I've talked to other streamers that, you know, use X, and then that's how they get their name around. But I guess you have to start somewhere. But I've got so many graphic artists following me on Twitter that will message me. They're like, hey, are you interested in any services? I can do this, this, and this. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, half the time I don't even respond to them, because I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. I mean, I understand they've got to put themselves out there somehow, and that's the only way that they know how, or maybe it's their last resort and other things, but I gotta tell you, the whole graphic artist things, career, chosen path, side hustle, whatever you want to call it, main hustle, it feels a bit, how to say this politely, I don't know if there's a polite way to say this, I'm just gonna say it. It kind of feels like how when I was in school, towards the end of getting out of school, everybody was pushing, you know, IT this, IT that, because computers were going to be the next big thing, because I grew up as the internet became a household thing. Like, we didn't have internet when I first grew up. Like, it was towards maybe high school where it was starting to become a thing, and then it was dial-up, and so, like, people like, oh no, you know, IT jobs are going to be it, and you know, that's where you want to go. And well, then suddenly, in the blink of an eye, because everybody kept pushing the IT path on people in school and stuff, as those guys were coming out of school, guys and gals, with their IT degrees, the market was suddenly flooded with all of these IT people that couldn't get a job because there was too many people. Well, now it almost feels like there's so many graphic artists, whether it's your main hustle or side hustle, that they're having trouble finding work because people have already have their person that they prefer. And I feel bad, but I don't really have the money to pay for art services at the moment. We're a little better than we were, but you know, it's not like we can just throw around money everywhere. But we still have to watch our budget, especially now with the doggo, who just cost us about $300 to $400 this week alone. But you know, it feels like it's become so saturated, and people were just like, yeah, no, I banned those people immediately. And then they started talking about the cheap viewers on or the best viewers on thing, and I'm like, some people said the link of one of the places, and I'm like, oh, so maybe the star is one of the mods, the robot mods catching it and just putting stars in there. Since I have no idea what the actual website is they're advertising, I'm not seeing it. But I'm just like, wow. I feel bad because, you know, they're trying to make their money. I get it. But I don't know, man. Like, I have a person. It's simple, but it works for me, and I'm happy with it. So I don't like a lot of flashy happening. Sometimes it gets to be too much and too distracting. For my brain. Like, if there's a lot of busy on the screen, sometimes I'm like, what did the person just say? I have one streamer that I watch from time to time, who has a busy stream, and it's always chaos in there. So I'm usually only there for small amounts of time. I don't mind them, it's just, it's very sensory overload when I'm in there. She's got it set up so that her chat control her pretty heavily, constantly, with different noises and sound effects going off, and sometimes they're trolling her so hard, I'm like, can you stop so she can work on what the hell she's trying to work on? I would like to see what she's making. There's times where I get frustrated. But that's why her chat is there, to cause chaos, like... But... I imagine that that's also frustrating for the streamer at times, because you're trying to accomplish something and then you just have to be okay with stuff not getting accomplished, or you have to be able to work quickly in between the chaos, and I am neither of those, and I know it, so it's like, yeah, okay. We don't go with the super flashy approach here. And I'm okay with that. I don't want a whole bunch of graphics constantly happening, or emotes flying across the screen all the time. I mean, I could put my face on camera and we could have me have to do face painted things at times, but my skin's also sensitive and breaks out and rashes and stuff sometimes with face paint. It gets itchy and I don't want to put myself through that. So I have no idea what I would do for channel rewards, or like channel pointies. And, you know, my face has been on camera occasionally. There's some older streams where I'm on camera. And there's some WoW Challenges podcasts where I'm on camera. But I'm more comfortable with my face not on camera. Like, our life is chaos. So our house is chaos. And I don't have a dedicated room to stream in, so there's constant movement going on in the background here. I could turn and put the camera facing the other way so that it's facing the wall, but I've got my entire fluff wall behind me on the one, when I face the one monitor, and it's Ziploc bags, and I think the lighting would just be nothing but a glare back there, so it probably wouldn't work too well. And now, like, you have to worry about your safety and shit a lot more than you used to, because people are crazy. So while I know there are still some streams in existence on the YouTube channel with my face, they're older, and you'd really have to dig to find them. I don't like, I'm not comfortable putting my face out there every stream. Besides, my face is always red, whether from my anxiety or what. Nobody needs to see that. And I hate doing makeup. I hate putting makeup on my face. It makes me feel like my skin can't breathe. And makeup's expensive. And that would probably be the only thing that would tone down the redness. And I just... no. I'm not. I don't have makeup in the house anymore. I had to wear makeup for my casino job. That was bad enough. I'm not a girly girl that likes the makeup and all the things, and I'm just like, no. I'm like, I don't have time for this shit. I just don't. I would much rather take makeup money and go to the art store. Art supplies are my clothing shopping spree. Oh, I mean, I do... It depends. If I'm in a mood and I see something that I like, or the texture that I like of a shirt or something, then I want to get it right then and there on the spot. But I don't normally enjoy going clothes shopping. It's more of a chore to me. Because nothing ever fits right. I usually have to get my stuff a little big. I'd rather it hang off of me a little than be uncomfortably tight. Oh, we missed that. That's okay. I can put a little patchy do on that. Okay, so this might just be like bumpy there. Probably because of all the straight that was happening. Not a whole lot we can do about that then. But yeah, I would much rather go to Michael's or, you know, some art supply place and have a shopping spree there. I can do some damage in those stores. Let me tell you. I'm always looking for, like, I have mixed feelings about buying stuff on clearance in an art supply store, though. Because what if you love it? Like, what if you love the thing that you bought on clearance and now it's a limited quantity because you can't get it again? Like, maybe the company discontinued it. You know, then what do you do? Like, then you're kind of screwed, right? But if it's, like, generic canvas or, you know, something like that, I'll go for that. I got some decent canvas minis half off at a clearance section in Hobby Lobby when my mom needed something in there. I don't care where I am. If there's canvas that's half price on clearance, I'm going to get it. Canvases can be expensive. So I was like, hell yes, we are getting that. Absolutely, 100%. Like, paintbrushes I'll do on clearance as long as they're not sheddy. Paint, I have mixed feelings about getting on clearance. It's like, why are you on clearance? Are they just not carrying your color anymore? Were you just not a popular color? Is the company stopping with this color? Like, you know. Them's be thoughts I have to go through. Storage containers, yeah, we'll get those on clearance, because those don't matter quite so much. A lot of times I'll get my storage options from not Hobby Lobby, Dollar Tree. You can get some decent stuff at the Dollar Tree. Sometimes. But, you know, you have to be picky at the Dollar Tree. I know there's all these videos and YouTube channels about the DIYs from the Dollar Tree, but it's like, okay. Some of them are cute, and some of them I'm just like, but why? Why? What was the point of this? Like, I don't understand. I saw one DIY where somebody found a flamingo statue. Not necessarily have to do with Dollar Tree, but just a random DIY channel. And they'd found a flamingo statue either at a yard sale or in the trash, or at the trash on the curb or something, and somebody bought it and brought it home and spray painted it gold. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, you need to have your DIY license taken away. You don't spray paint the flamingos gold. What is wrong with you? It looked so gaudy to me, and I'm just like, maybe some people love it. There was so many people in the comments though. They're like, oh, you spray painted the flamingo gold. What is wrong with you? I was like, yeah, that's kind of how I felt. Blasphemy. I mean, I rescued a concrete flamingo statue from my brother's place back in January, when we were down there. He had it in the garage of the house that he was getting ready to try to put up for sale, which he still hasn't sold. He can't get a buyer. He's lowered the price on the house almost $300,000, and he still can't get anybody to buy it. Has an electric boat lift. It's on a canal. It's probably because it's on the canal. Has a pool, hot tub. Not very much of a yard. The pool is pretty much the yard. But you've got your own private electric boat lifts and dock, and he's got a security system put in. It might be the security system that might be turning some people off, because there's cameras everywhere. Outside, like watching the back, watching the front. But he's an ex-police officer that also had a security camera business, so he wanted to make sure that there weren't shenanigans going on the property, because he can log in from wherever he is and check that, and he was going to leave the security system in place for the new owner and just, remove his access from it and give the access to them. Because he already bought a new house. I love his new house. I wish it was my house, but Florida's getting a little scary with the storms and the homeowners insurance issues and stuff, so might not be the wisest decision. But I mean, I rescued a flamingo statue from him that was concrete, but I painted it back the colors it was sort of close to originally. Although for some reason somebody painted the flamingo's legs green like it was part of the plant that was on there, and I didn't understand that. So I had to fix that. There was some kind of metallic orange showing through, and I didn't understand where that was coming from. Unless it was the way the paint had separated, or maybe there was multiple coats of paint on it. I don't know. We did have to repair the neck. It looked like the neck had broken off at one point and someone tried to put it back together badly. So we had to get some epoxy for concrete that we had to mix together. That was a mess. Oh my god. I was trying to mix it together with a stick, and I just had to end up applying it with my fingers with gloves on. because the stick wasn't working that well and it was a little sticky, and I was just like, I just need to fill in the holes on the crack so this is smoothed out. And then we had to sand and sand and sand, but we got him. I didn't seal him though, but he's undercover on my porch, so he's not really in the weather. All right, so we're getting there on the river. We've got a good portion of it filled in here as we're working our way down. Or lake or whatever. I keep thinking it's a river. It's called Peaceful Waters. I don't really think they differentiated what it was supposed to be. I mean, you can have rivers that are peaceful. Oh, just like the way it's made, it feels like a river. It doesn't really feel like a lake. Could be. Doesn't feel like it. For Steve's brainchild here. Doesn't look a whole lot like it. It looks similar. Similar. But it's not going to be a direct copy. At all. Okay. Still don't know what I'm doing for Christmas gifts. I still have to get that figured out. Though I think we figured out what we're doing for my mom. We're getting her, I think, one bought gift. And I haven't figured out what her handmade gift is going to be just yet. That I just don't know. I've got a couple of ideas, but I'm not certain about what I want to do yet. I have an idea of what to do for the mother-in-law, but I can't start to work on it yet until we are in her presence and I can get Russell to get me what I need. And I don't know if her sister is coming down at all this year. Because the family member that was having a hip replaced, what was it? April, March or something, when she left to begin with, is having the other hip replaced. I think about the date that we're leaving, so I don't know if she's gonna be able to travel with the RV down by time. Like, I don't know if she's gonna travel it when things are starting to get wintry, because she might be up there, or she has to be up there till like maybe November, depending on how long it takes the person whose place that she is temporarily taking to get better. I don't know. But I also don't know when things start getting wintry in New Hampshire. When does winter start to become an issue in New Hampshire? Husband? Russell? When does winter start to become an issue in New Hampshire?
Keep in mind it's been like 20 freaking years, but usually winter would start kicking off
like wintry weather.
As early as November.
Yeah, so she might not be down here. I don't know what weather conditions she's willing to drive that thing in.
Keep in mind that is the earliest. I've seen it start way later than that.
Although she might not have a choice. Because I imagine winter up there being more of a problem with that thing than down here.
Well, she has a place to live up there if it comes to it.
This is true. Alright, so do we want to put in the entire river all in one go? Or do we want to like take it to this line here and then fill in the rest of it as we get down further? I don't know. We should probably just put it all in at once. Probably be the easiest thing to do. Alright. So we have to do another round of dye on my hair tonight because after it dried it was a little splotchy in a couple spots that didn't quite get covered right because I don't do a hair dryer. It wrecks my hair. So I just kind of let it dry on its own, so we couldn't touch it up last night. So we'll see if we can get those sections to take the dye tonight. But I need this done now so it has time to drip its pink everywhere and do its lovely dye depositing and try to get it over with. As it is, I'm going to be bringing my own towel for my hair. At the very least, for our trip, so I don't get any hotels being like, you ruined our towels. It's like, it washes out. I've not had it stain a single towel I have. I don't know what the heck you all are doing, but I don't want to get charged like $50 for a towel. So I'll just bring my own. I bring my own pillow anyway because of my neck. Bought that expensive ass pillow. I'm gonna drag it everywhere with me. If it means I can try to sleep. Sure, you bet. Tell you, that pillow is heavy that I bought too. It's like 5 or 6 pounds. We'll see how much life I get out of it. I better get at least a year out of that sucker. Killed me having to buy that pillow. But I was at my wit's end. I've tried so many other less expensive pillows. I tried my last pillow before this one was one of those adjustable pillows that you can add more fluff to. And it was getting to the point where I had to have it fluffed every single night. Sometimes in the middle of the night I had to wake up and re-fluff it. And I had to keep constantly turning it around because it felt like I was chasing the stuffing in it. And then it was too flat. Then we stuffed it to high heaven, then it was too high. Like, we could not get it to work. And so we were gonna have to go pillow hunting again. And Russ was like, what was the name of that expensive pillow that you wanted? Like, a couple of years ago that we did not have the money to get. I was like, it's the purple pillow. And I said, there's a couple of places around here that I have seen say that they sell the purple thing, like the purple mattresses and stuff. So we found a couple of sellers in our area that had the pillow in-house to try. And he's like, well, let's go see. And he's like, let's just go see if it's gonna work. And they had a couple other different pillows that we tried first. And there was one that was interesting that had like a U cutout in it. And I was like, maybe? But then I wasn't sure if it was going to be like too much pillow around my neck and freak me out sometimes if I'm having an overload of a sensory day and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about this. So, we tried the purple one and I was like, oh, it's weird because it's like the same sort of squishy but not like foam grid on the inside. Like, you can definitely feel when you touch it the same stuff that the mattress is made out of, like a waffle pattern. And but it didn't give me an instant migraine when I put my head on it. And I was like, oh. And the husband's like, what? I'm like, I don't have a blinding migraine. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of indifferent. Like, it wasn't like a sigh of relief, but it wasn't excruciating pain when I laid down on it. And he goes, well, that's something. And I was like, yeah. So I've tried so many pillows where within 15 seconds of putting my head on it, instant migraine. The one gave me splitting, excruciating, stabbing pains up into the back of my head and like down my spine after like 30 seconds of trying to lay on it. I was like, oh no. That was a different one that we had tried at our house. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I was like, that pillow needs to go die in a fire. Because no. For a memory foam pillow, it went flat as shit the second my head touched it. It was crazy. Sorry, I was checking on the doggo. I heard him get up and then I didn't know where he went. And sometimes he'll just stand behind my chair waiting for me to realize he's there when he wants something. And sometimes I don't realize he's there for quite a while. Alright, so we're getting filled in pretty good there. This one was a pretty simple one for a Bob painting, but it's because they were doing a demo of questions, like, how do I do this? Like, they were answering, like, technique questions and stuff. So it wasn't as elaborate as I've seen them get. But Steve also seemed nervous as hell. I don't blame him. I would have been nervous too. Alright, so we'll just finish filling this guy in this part. And then we'll be halfway done our river here. So I think the best thing to do here is to put the river in full. Even though it's a little boring, I'll admit it. You know, we're doing a large swath of color. I get that. It's not the most exciting thing. But, I think it's gonna be better to put it all in one go. Because this needs to sit up above it. And then I kind of need the shoreline to meet up with it over here. And since I need to come back in and redo my shoreline up here, so I don't have to do that down here, I think we're just better off doing the entirety of our river in one go here. But you know, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's starting to look like something. I'm still kind of proud of our mountains back there. Don't forget I'm cooking in like an hour. The next bit of fluff. Oh, we've still got a good amount in there, so I don't think we'll run out. We'll probably be okay. Tell you, it got super warm again. We had a slight taste of fall for a couple days there. And it was glorious. What? Hi, buddy. Don't stare at me. I don't have anything.
Hi. What's up, pal?
He's got that look on his face of, you had a snacky. And you didn't give me any. Momo, why don't you go potty? It's about potty time for you. Do I need to get him up? Huh?
No.
Momo, do you have to go pee-pees? Do you want to go pee-pee? The look he's giving you.
Come on, buddy.
Come on. There you go. Good job. We're still a little wobbly, but...
Well, you might be like that for a little bit.
We're doing a little better than we were.
Antibiotics and it's not feeling well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much that's gonna take out of him, but he's gotta take that for what, a week?
Until it runs out, however long that is.
My poor buddy. But he's still got his happy tail. He was sassing us this morning. I woke up to him being sassy. He wanted us up because he was hungry. He's like, hey, it's breakfast time. Or at least, hey, I'm hungry. I have no idea what time it was. I was half asleep. I was with it enough to realize it didn't seem all that light out, so it might have like just been sunrise. I'm like, dude, no. Not yet. At least we finally got his medication shifted to when the husband takes his. Because the first night of his medication was at like 12:30 in the morning. And he had to have it, so. Well, I feel a little better that both sides are a little bowed now, so. It's still not great, but we'll figure it out. I'm not sure what color I'm going to do the hanging rod on it yet. I don't know if I'm just going to go brown or if I'm going to stay white. I've done white on one other one just because nothing else really fit because of the color scheme on it. White might be too much on this one though. I think I might have to go with a brown of some description. So I have to pack an art bag. Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to. I want to. Husband thinks I should. And I'm gonna bring my gouache with us because that dries pretty quickly. And we're gonna have the mixed media sketchbook with us. I probably should have gotten a watercolor sketchbook, but I really hadn't thought about what was gonna go in there. But that's okay. And it's a slightly smaller sketchbook than the big one that we've been doing the demo sketches in for this whole series. It's probably about half the size of it. So it's a little more travel friendly. We're not going to take our good camera this time. We're just going to use the husband's cell phone. Because I don't think we can bring the good camera to Flamingo. Like, they didn't say what we could and couldn't bring. But they're going to be like right up in our faces, so it might not have done very well anyhow. So I think we'll just use his cell phone camera. That we can use. I've seen people using their cell phone to take photos. It's the only two things, well, three things that I want to do.
Okay.
Uh-oh. You okay?
Wrong tube.
Oh, he got a drink. He does that. He has a slightly narrow esophagus. There we go. So sometimes when he gets a drink, it makes him cough. Okay, thank you. Okay, that is a spot that got missed, a tiny spot, but spot nonetheless. So let's fill that guy in as best as we can here. So we're almost done the seasonal stuff in Diablo 4's current season. We've got a couple more things left to do that are super grindy to be able to do them. We need one more world boss, I think. And we couldn't quite get through the tier 5 Hellgate, so doing tier 6 with a sorcerer, a frozen sorcerer, and a barbarian is probably not going to work because I kept dying. I could kind of kill the stuff, I just didn't have the health for it on 5. I'm not fully masterworked, and I'm still missing a couple pieces of 925 gear, which probably isn't helping. But I've been having a real hard time finding replacements that I'm happy with. Because the two not 925 pieces I have are both 2 stars, and they are starred on awesome things, and I'm like, I don't want to give these up. And I'm like, it happened once, it's gotta happen again, right? And we need to get our masterworking up to level 8. I think the highest I am on a piece of gear might be 4 or 5. I'm not sure which is better, to do the Hellgates and go for the crafting materials, or to just do Saragar. That I'm not sure of. Because last season, I don't know if they've changed it or not, but whoever started the Saragar run got the most masterworking materials. And then anybody else along for the ride got like half of that, which was kind of maddening. So you kind of had to take turns on who was starting it. And I kind of like my frozen build. Didn't really want to go electric if I didn't have to. But the husband's definitely carrying my ass with my current build and character, since he switched to Barbarian. I'm not so sure if I need to switch to Barbarian also. I don't really think I do. But I think our third thing that we need to do is probably go after Duriel, and he thinks we can go after him. But we need Angel's Breath to make some more incense and potions, and that's what we're having trouble getting. Because if we do the compasses, you get like 1 Angel's Breath when you take the crafting crate, and I'm like, really? I think if we do the events in the sigil dungeons, we both got 10 from one event last night, so I mean, that was something. We tried killing mini bosses in a Hell Tide where we were supposed to have a chance of getting them to drop, but we weren't getting any. So that was slightly annoying, because we don't have that much time to play before we're like, okay, I've had enough of this for now. We can do Diablo, we just need to do it in small doses. Alrighty, so we'll get this part of the river put in here. I'm trying to go across for the water instead of up and down. This water usually goes this way, at least when it's flat. Alright, we might need to put in another piece in there where those two meet, just so it's not quite so weird. Alright. Because it's a little, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe just a little guy, right? Ooh, does anybody have Sun Pass, or have you ever had Sun Pass? We had closed our account back in February when we got home. We don't know if we can reopen it, or if we just need to get a new sticker. We need to find that out. It's fine either way, we just need to know. It'd be a hell of a lot easier if we could just reopen it. But we should be able to get another sticker from the Welcome Center when we get into when we get into the state. We were frantic when we got there last time, though. We rolled in like at almost 5 o'clock. We didn't know the visitor center closed at 5. We grabbed our sticker, and the second he walked out the door, they must have like locked the doors, and there was like no cell reception in the parking lot of the visitor center. He had to like walk out in the middle of the parking lot near, like, closer to the interstate to try to get some kind of cell reception as we were trying to set up our sticker. And then it was being all sorts of cranky because we thought we needed the sticker to get to the hotel. And then it turned out we didn't need it to the next day, so we could have just activated it when we got to the hotel, which is what we're going to do this time. Because I am fairly certain we did not end up using it until the next day. Because we were on I-75 for a good amount of time, and we should be rolling into Florida like in the morning on the day that we arrive into there, like maybe just before lunch or something. So depending on what time we leave our stop in Georgia, but we're not going to be that far from the state line, maybe an hour and a half from the state line. So we didn't like the Holiday Inn Express. Well, no, it wasn't an Express. We didn't like the Holiday Inn that we stayed at in Lake City the last time. I mean, it was okay. However, like, it was nothing like, the room was fine. The hotel was old. It definitely needed a remodel, but that was fine. The elevators maybe needed to be updated a little bit. They were very slow. Very concerningly slow. But the thing that we had the most trouble with was the design of the hotel and the way the husband and I process things. They had like a center atrium that went from the lobby up to the top floor, like cut out, that you could like lean over a railing when you were on the upper floors and look down at the people in the bar or the little restaurant area. And for some reason that gave the husband and I such vertigo. It was unreal. Like, we kept feeling like we were gonna fall, and he couldn't sleep because he kept waking up feeling like he was falling. So that's our only complaint about that. We could stay in a different hotel there, but we have our rewards plan with Holiday Inn, and they that property was nice because there was it a Ruby Tuesdays, I think, or TGI Fridays, one of those. I think it was Ruby Tuesdays, right next door to the hotel. We just had to walk a couple steps from the parking lot, which was nice because after being in the car all day, nobody wants to get back in the car to go find dinner, or at least we didn't. And we were all able to find something that we were happy with on the menu. It was a little loud and a little busy and a little crowded the day that we were in there, but, you know, that's going to be what it's going to be, because I think it's like the first major city with a bunch of hotels in it coming into Florida off the interstate, so I can see that it's busy. I mean, it's probably better to be in a busy restaurant, because that probably means their food's decent, right? Maybe. But I can understand where that wouldn't be necessarily true in all instances, but it was a restaurant that we were familiar with, so we were okay eating there. But we're gonna stop in Georgia because that kind of, in Lake City, put us like 2.5, 3 hours from my brother's, which felt silly stopping there, but we were so totally done for the day that we didn't want to keep going. And we didn't want to drive in the dark in an area that we are not familiar with, that wasn't very well lit in sections, so especially since we had to leave the interstate to get to my brother's. Not that the interstate's well lit anyway, but we didn't know what the roads were going to be like getting to his house. We're like, no, we'll just wait until morning so we can see where we're going and shit. So we're gonna stop in Georgia this time, so that'll put us maybe 3 to 4 hours from my brother's, because the last time we got there so super early we had to dick around before we could check into the hotel, because I don't think they were doing check-in till like 3 or 4, and they didn't have any early check-in available, because we asked, we're like, hey, we know we didn't request an early check-in, is there maybe anything available? And they're like, no. We're like, okay, that's fine. We were just, you don't know if you don't ask, right? Like, we weren't gonna make a huge fuss about it. It's like, we can go do some other things. It would have been nice if we could have like offloaded the car before we went over to my brother's, because we had suitcases in the back seat with my mom, because we had a wheelchair for her in the back seat, but she's not going to need that this time because she's going to be with my aunt and my brother, and she's going to have her walker, and she should be fine with that, because this walker that we got her has a seat option with it. She just has to remember to lock the brakes on it when she goes to sit down. And we'll have to show my brother where the brake lock is on it so she doesn't forget. Because once we get into Florida, we're dropping her off, and then we're gonna go do our thing, because we're not really visity with people. I really don't have anything to say, and it's just awkward, and I'm just kind of sitting there staring off into oblivion while they're all talking, and we want to try to make it to the garden center, I think, before we settle in for the night. That's about 15-20 minutes from the hotel. It's not too bad, but they're not open super late. And we're probably going to want to try to find some kind of lunch or dinner if we don't get lunch before we go to my brother's. Though lunch might just end up being like something quick like McDonald's, because I want pizza from Scotty's for dinner. They are right across the street from our hotel. Pretty good pizza. Husband liked their cheesesteak. He was quite enthused with it. Their french fries were pretty good. We were rather pleased with it. It's hard to find good pizza when you're on the road. But theirs was pretty decent. I was pretty happy with it. It was similar to the stuff that we would get back in Jersey. if I could afford to deal with the hurricanes, I would move to that town specifically just so I could eat there. Which I know sounds silly, but that's how much I miss decent pizza. It's tough to find, man. Especially where we're at right now. But, you know, growing up with pizza in the New Jersey, Philly, New York area, it's tough to find pizza that's good outside of that. At least that's been my experience. We got spoiled with a couple decent pizza places in that area. So I grew up with family-run pizza place called Joe and John's in South Jersey. Let's get that finger out of the way. That one's not protected. And then that was like brothers that ran the place, and then the one brother, I don't know if there's a disagreement or what, but the one brother left to go do his own restaurant. And that one was struggling because their prices were a bit more expensive. They did okay for a little while, and then I think it was just too expensive. Like, we only ate there a couple of times. They had a good white pizza. I liked their chicken and broccoli white pizza. I couldn't really find that anywhere else. I really liked that. But that was a special treat on occasion. And then when we moved out of that specific town, we moved closer to another pizza place that I kind of grew up with that was at the end of my grandparents' street where they lived when we moved to that town. And so I kind of grew up going to that pizza place a lot. They knew my grandmother from walking in, and I would be with her just about all the times that she walked in. So their pizza was pretty good too. At Pizza de Roma. And they had a lot of stuff that was good aside from their pizza. Like their subs were pretty good. You cannot find South Jersey sub roll bread anywhere else. They use the hard Italian rolls for their sub bread, and like to go with their spaghettis and their pasta dinners and everything. You can't find that anywhere else. Not that I've been able to come across. Not down here. This area is kind of like... there's more taco places than Italian places down here. And the sub shops and the Italian places that are down here, like when they do a sub, they put it on like a hoagie roll. And I'm like, no, this is blasphemy. What are you doing? This is not it. I'm like, where's my hard Italian bread roll here? No. You know what? It's 47. We'll stop there. So we didn't do too bad. We didn't get too far, but we're almost done our body of water here. We have just a little bit more to go on that tomorrow. So we'll probably finish up this section of water tomorrow, and then I'll come back in and we'll fix our shoreline up in here. That needs a little bit of a slight extension on it to give the trees a little bit more solid footing. And we'll work on putting our water line in around our landmass here, and then we'll start to work on our island here. So that is the plan for tomorrow. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. It was good to see you popping in, Dave. Glad to see you're all right. It could have been a better get to know you, LibXZ, until you put that link in. So I hope you enjoy your band. So I will see everyone tomorrow, migraine and life craziness permitting. Don't forget to follow the socially links down below. They will take you to the X Twitter, the Ko-fi, the Instagram, sorry my brain stopped for a second, and the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free to do so over there, and we need to get a few more subs over there because we are not monetized yet. We don't have enough of a sub count to make that happen just yet, but we're trying. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me today. Hope everybody's week is off to a good start tomorrow. And until next time, you guys, have a good one.